Guys, and welcome to our first preview of the Championship season that we're just about to go into, and of course it is against Coventry at the Stadium of Light. It is a lunchtime kickoff in which I will be going to, and I'm so excited for it, you know, especially since we've been given the news that we just signed Ellis Sims as well. Will he start? I don't know, that remains to be seen. He'll more than likely find himself on the bench, but I just feel like there's a breath of sort of positivity after that signing. I just felt really light up top in particular, you know, and I don't know why, just that one signing, it feels like a piece of the puzzle, and quite a substantial piece of the puzzle has been put into the squad. So it gives you a bit of positivity, you know, just before a game, the first game of the season, you get a really good high caliber signing like that. It really does give you a sort of breath of fresh air, doesn't it? So I'm feeling really positive, but it's not going to be easy, of course, up against Coventry, who, you know, they finished bang on mid-table last year, 12th place, and they've got a dangerous team, and you know what they've done over the past few seasons is nothing short of fantastic. It really is absolutely fantastic. They did it properly, you know, they got themselves out League One when we were down there, and they've started to sustain themselves in the Championship. I think they were almost towards the playoffs at one point as well last season, and they've pushed around the area quite a couple, I think, for a couple of years running now, and of course they've seen themselves fall away towards the back end and sitting in 12th, which is, there's nothing bad about that at all. Do you know what I mean? What they've done is absolutely fantastic, and hats off to them, you know, despite there being a little bit of a rival between the two. You know, I have nothing but respect for the job that they've done there. You know, they've got a good manager, good solid side, good spine, dangerous players as well, and of course, only as of recently, the familiar face that we'll know, Callum Doyle, they've brought into the club, who I've said myself, I'm not going to act salty or anything, I was a massive fan of, but I do prefer the alternative that we've gone for in Alessi. I'm just saying that out there, but they're a good team, you know. They've scored, I think it was 60-odd goals last season, which I think it's like the 7th best in the league, but they also conceded 59. So for every goal they score, they pretty much concede one as well. But, you know, they're dangerous. How they'll set themselves up at the Stadium like that remains to be seen, but we've seen what Cov have been like over the last few years. They can really go for it, and that might be why they concede just as much as they score. But they'll go for it. I can't imagine them sitting back at any point. Maybe anyway. We'll have to wait and see. But we're going to do the tried and tested system that I do in these previews. I'm going to go for my preferred starting 11, not what I predict, but my preferred, kind of anyway. It's sort of a mix of what I expect to see and what I want, because certain things that I want I just know aren't going to happen. So it's kind of a mixed bag. So if you're new to the previews, that's generally how it works. So here is my preferred starting 11 to start against Coventry. So I've gone with Anthony Patterson in goal. I've gone with the 4 at the back rather than the 3, because I really don't like that 3 in the back system. Don't think we play particularly well with it, and we haven't for some time now. So I've gone for the 4 at the back with Dennis Serkin at left back, Bollard and Bailey right in the centre. Now, I know a lot of people, including myself, would like to see Bollard and Alessi there at some point. But, you know, Bollard, he's got plenty of experience in the Championship, so I'm quite comfortable with him there, despite, you know, being a young lad. But with Alessi, I know he has experience elsewhere in even higher divisions, but I just think to have that sort of experienced head, particularly for the first game of the season in front of a big crowd, to have Bailey Wright alongside Bollard, I think that's probably the best way to go, the best route to go. I think in the future, as the season goes on, I would like to see Bollard and Alessi maybe start to forge a partnership, because it's not like they're both on loan, where we're going to give them back anyway. They're both signed for us on long-term deals, and we want to try and get them to bond and to gel, and those two could be one hell of a partnership if we manage to give them time to forge a partnership. But for the first game of the season, I will give it to Bollard and Bailey Wright. Now, right back, a lot of people, you know, and I agree with me in this one, Hume was probably the standout player in pre-season, despite it being a very up and down pre-season. It wasn't great at all. Trey Hume didn't look out of place whatsoever in any games. Every single game, he wanted to get forward. He did his defensive job well. He got caught out once or twice, of course, but that happens. He's only a young lad as well. But he was so fearless, and he wanted to go forward every time he got the ball. And the frustration in his face when he would manage to get into that sort of final third and there was no movement, and he would be waving his hands around saying like, right, come on everyone, move. You know what I mean? And you can see his passion for attacking. He didn't want to slow down the play at all, and he was hell-bent on not going backwards. And as you guys know, I hate going backwards. I hate players that when there's an opportunity to go forward, they go backwards. But he seems that kind of person as well. Do you know what I mean? And he was just battering players down the right-hand side constantly. Very solid, very tidy, and he just looked a better option than Gooch. I think Gooch will more than likely start, but Hume has not put a foot wrong at all. Now, here is something else that's probably going to be a little bit controversial. In the middle, I did originally think Evans and Neil. It probably is going to be Evans and someone else, maybe even O'Nien. But I just want to go all out. Embleton, and I've said a million times, everyone always says in their predicted lineups, they stick Embleton in at left wing or right wing or as a cam, number 10, behind the striker. I keep on saying, I'm going to keep repeating myself, I believe 100% he's a better central midfielder. 100%. He can do the dirty work, just because he's a sort of tricky-ish sort of player and a more positive, forward-thinking player doesn't mean he can't do the dirty work, because he does get stuck in. Granted, it isn't the best sort of traits that he's got in his defensive work, but from the centre, he is so good at bringing us from the middle third to the final third. Other players aren't great at that. Evans has improved. At first, everyone knows how much I disliked Evans. He grew on me massively and he started to show and prove his worth. But Embleton, for me, Evans, he is more of a sort of sideways passer, but he's sort of been a lot more cleaner with it recently, or over the last sort of back end of last season. That's why I've started to like him a lot more. He was a lot cleaner, a bit more positive. But Embleton, every time he gets the ball, he wants to work it forward, very similar to Hume. So I want a lot of forward-thinking players on the pitch, so in front of the sort of 40+ thousand, or however's going to be there, however many's going to be there at the Stadium Light, we need forward-thinking players to contribute and give us the best opportunity. Then you've got Dhannoo there, who I think has had a fantastic pre-season. He's bulked out a little bit, so his physicality is there as well, and we know what he's all about. He's tricky, creative, and him and Embleton in the middle. Granted, you might think we're a bit light in there. We need a tough tackler, someone a bit more solid, maybe a bit more experienced. But I just think go for it. First game of the season, big bumper crowd. Just go for it. And now this is probably the best attacking sort of four we've got up top. Clark on the left, Roberts on the right, Pritchard behind, Ross Stewart up top. And then it wouldn't surprise me if we did see Sims come on later on in the game. Say we're trailing or something, get Sims on alongside Stewart and then maybe bring off Clark or something, or Roberts, vice versa. And I'd always keep Pritchard on the pitch, me, because I love Pritchard. But then moving him out on the wing or something and go with a 4-4-2, possibly. We shall see. But that is my preferred starting 11. And of course, not everyone's going to agree with me. So you guys let me know in the comments down below what starting 11 you would like to see us go with on Sunday against Coventry. But now for the dreaded score predictions. My first score prediction of this championship campaign. And, it's not going to be like last season where most games I'm predicting a win. Even realistically at times I was still going for a win. Whereas this season, if I'm going to be as realistic as possible and going with my head, there isn't going to be too many wins predicted, depending on our form, I guess, and stuff like that. But as of right now, I'm looking at us as a League One side, which essentially we have a League One squad there, with sprinklings, a little bit of play, a little bit of sprinkling of maybe or possible Championship quality in there. That's what this squad is right now, and Coventry are a very, very well sustained club in the Championship right now. As I say, mid-table last season, they're a good team. They've had a bright pre-season. I think they've got 100% record in pre-season. Granted, the quality of teams that they did play weren't great, apart from, I think, Nottingham Forest, but they still beat Forest as well. I think it was 3-1 earlier in their pre-season. Everyone else, it was sort of League One, League Two sides. But still, 100% they'll be happy. Some momentum, winning momentum going forward, which is something we don't have. But what we do have on our side is the crowd. And I don't think the players maybe took, I'm not saying they didn't take pre-season seriously, but a lot of fans, they take a defeat to heart despite, whether it's pre-season or not. These guys won't care too much about the results. I don't think they would have preferred to win, but I think they'll just be chomping at the bit and just seeing this as a game that's coming straight after the playoff final, in League One. This is why we won the playoff final. This is why we put in as much effort as we did to get to this point. Let's not screw it up in the first game of the season, which of course isn't the end of the road if we do lose first game of the season. But you want to get off, with a bang, don't you? You want to start the season with a bang and with a win. But I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw, which I know isn't too exciting. It's boring, and I think Coventry are going to shock us early doors, maybe a set piece. It might deflate the crowd a little bit, but then eventually, I think we'll just keep on going for it, pump balls into the box, keep on pumping balls into the box, just like loads of nearly moments, and because of the effort the lads are putting in, the tackles that are maybe flying in, it'll get the crowd back on side again really quickly, and we'll just be roaring them away. And I can see it being one of those League One games that we saw towards the back end of last season, where we managed to get a last gasp goal. I'm going to give it to none other than Patrick Roberts. I'm going to predict it very specifically, right, because I dreamt this. This is why I'm saying it. Cov are going to score first, early doors, like I say. Then we're going to keep on going for it. Cov will get us on the counter-attack several times, but without continuing to score. And I think in the literally the 92nd, 93rd minute, Patrick Roberts is going to cut in from right to left. He'll strike it with his left foot. It'll look like it's going to go straight to the keeper, but then it'll take a deflection and roll into the far corner. Agonisingly for the keeper and amazingly for Sunderland fans. So that is what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with a Sunderland 1, Coventry 1 score prediction. So that is it, guys. That is my preview to our first game of the season. Of course, let me know your teams. What would you prefer to go with and what is the score going to be. Now, of course, we are so close to 15,000 subscribers. So frigging close. Can we do it before the opening day of the season? Come on, guys, keep pushing. There's not many to go. If you watch me all the time and you just haven't quite pressed subscribe because you're not sure, please do. Or if you know someone who does watch and hasn't, just let them know. Just make me smile, guys. But anyway, that'll be it. I'll see you on the other side. It'll be next week by the time I get a review out for the game, I would think, because I'm going to the game, of course, as I've already mentioned in a previous video, and I'm staying over, so it might not be till Monday, maybe even Tuesday by the time I get the review out. But either way, you take care and stay jamming.